Hi, I'm Jason Stujanki. Every day, viewers like you contact me. Maybe you've been scammed, ripped off, or simply need advice. That's what I'm here for, to help you make informed decisions to protect you and your family. So our Action 9 team went back into the archives to show you some of our latest investigations. All right, let's start with this. You could be paying less for health care. Who doesn't want to do that, right? All you need is a flex spending account. Basically, that allows you to use pre-tax dollars for medical expenses. Now, obviously, that covers things like doctor appointments and prescriptions, but it can also cover things you may not think of, like sunscreen, medical alert necklaces, and even gym memberships or massages. Flex spending account.
Yeah.
These two people know about flexible spending accounts, or FSAs.
As younger people, we usually tend to not appreciate those little things
That's a
as
good way of
much.
putting it. When you have an FSA, the government doesn't tax part of your salary. You get to keep each of those dollars to spend on health care, and that covers a lot. People assume it's just prescriptions and surgery, but I mean, it's all sorts of healthcare things. I mean, it's a pretty long list. You'd be surprised what you could save money on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You may need a letter of medical necessity or prescription, but how about air filters, breathalyzers, service animals, health club memberships, massage therapy, lawyer bills for fertility treatments, mattresses, swimming pools, weight loss programs, wigs, and the list goes on. When you see the list, you say, wow, I'm overpaying for that. I mean, it's really what it boils down to is you're overpaying. Yeah. You're paying more than you have to pay.
Yeah.
Milia Ponte is the benefits manager for the Employers Association. The group manages FSAs for about 300 companies.
To me, it's a no-brainer because these are expenses that you're having. These are out-of-pocket expenses that you're incurring, so why not save taxes on it?
Why pay more when you don't have to? These two are starting new jobs, and I think I talk them into FSAs if they can. I hate to see you pay with full tax dollars when you could use pre-tax dollars, even if it's for a few items.
All right.
So think of it this way. Basically, the government is offering to not tax part of your salary. You'd be foolish to say, oh, go ahead, tax it anyway. But just remember, there's a little bit of a catch. You want to make sure you take out only the money you'll use. You don't want to take out more than you'll spend. Now, sometimes it may roll over to the next year, but plan wisely. You can find the full list of approved FSA items on the WSOC app. Just look inside this story. Now listen to this crime. Some criminals forward your mail behind your back. They do that so they can get your personal information, money, or even medicines. And get this, it's actually easier than you may think. Lauren Peets says her letter carrier knew something was wrong.
She came up and knocked on our door and said, "Hey, you guys aren't moving, are you?" I said, "No." She said, "Well, do you know that your mail is being forwarded to Texas for the past couple of days?" Who knew? I didn't know. I mean, I knew about all sorts of credit card and other fraud, but I've never heard of this type.
Thieves can forward your mail and open it, looking for bank account numbers, social security numbers, checks, gift cards, medicines. The list goes on.
Luckily, we caught it soon enough that I don't think anything important made it through.
Peets reported to the postmaster. She also felt the duty to warn others. One reason, her husband is a police officer.
You know, I guess it's something people just have to be aware of. I went to Facebook first. I went to Nextdoor.
The Postal Service told me when someone forwards your mail, it sends you a letter to your old address, making sure you meant to forward it. Pete says she got that letter, but by that point, her mail had already been going to Texas for a few days.
It started on a Saturday. I received the postcard on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. So that's how many days they could have already been getting my mail before I knew about it.
So you can't put any kind of block or freeze on forwarding your mail, so what can you do? Well, go ahead and do what Lauren Peets did. She had already signed up for informed delivery. The Postal Service emails you pictures of the mail you should be getting every day, so at least she caught it early and was able to see that nothing important was forwarded. So a grandfather emailed me, an Army veteran, and he has good health insurance. In fact, he actually has two kinds. of good health insurance, but that actually complicated things in a big way, and this could happen to any veteran.
I'm the higher.
I was in an accident in February, 2 years ago.
So James Peace went to the doctor. He has two types of health insurance, VA benefits and Medicare. He knew the VA would pick up the whole tab. You wanted them to just bill the VA and leave Medicare out of it.
Exactly.
But he didn't tell the doctor that, and the doctor billed Medicare first. It covered some of the bill, but not all. And the VA wouldn't pick up the rest because the VA doesn't act as a secondary payer.
Something that is so frustrating, and there's nothing you can do.
Even worse, Peace says, he didn't even know there was a balance until he saw his credit report.
Why do I have bills? Why am I in collections? And why is it showing up on my credit report?
So he went ahead and paid the tab, $127, but the blemish stayed on his credit.
I mean, it was absolutely amazing what one collection does to your credit score. Over 35 points.
Really?
Yes.
From that $127 bill?
Yep. And that was whenever I emailed you guys and said, help. I need help. 24 hours later, it was fixed.
Action 9 emailed the provider, Atrium Health. It didn't respond to me directly, but Peace told me an Atrium executive called him the same day and helped clear up his credit report.
He was amazing. He apologized and explained to me the whole situation, what had happened, how it happened, and why it happened.
Now, I don't want you going through the same thing, so let me explain it. If you have both VA and Medicare, you can't use both. Neither one will be secondary to the other. So which do you use? Well, in general, if it's a VA facility or the VA referred you, the VA should pay. In other cases, use Medicare. Make sure you tell your provider which to start with. Cars catching fire. An SUV stalled in the middle of the road. Next, the complaints I investigated and the lawsuit that could get you money. A Charlotte driver says her SUV was demolished. She blames a problem that could impact thousands of other drivers out on the road. Now the car company recalled previous models for the same issue, so I asked if the recalls need to be expanded.
Yeah, that's when I first took it in.
Natalie Burke bought a new 2017 Hyundai Tucson like this one.
One day it just stalled out in the middle of the road. Well, again, it stalled out 2 more times. One time it was in the middle of Park Road and I almost got hit. One last time it happened, and this time I wasn't so lucky to avoid an accident. I went into a field and my car went airborne and smashed into AT&T box.
Oh, wow.
So just totally demolished my car.
She says she took the SUV to the dealer twice.
And they're like, ma'am, we can't find anything. We can't duplicate it. We have no idea what's wrong with your car.
Hyundai recalled 2011, 2012, and 2013 Tucsons for stalling issues. I checked federal safety records to see if drivers complained about the same problem with more recent Tucsons. I searched Tucsons from 2014 to present, typed the word stall, and found 49 complaints. Burke wants the company to recall newer models, especially from her year, 2017.
What's it going to take somebody to die before they do something?
Now, I made sure Hyundai is aware of the situation. The company emailed me it's keeping an eye on things. It said we actively monitor potential safety concerns with all of our vehicles and act swiftly to recall any with safety-related problems. Now, at the same time, Hyundai and its related company Kia are dealing with another situation. I've been investigating this for more than a year now. Basically, it involves cars catching fire without being in wrecks. So we're talking about non-collision fires. Now, this impacts as many as 4 million vehicles, and recently, the car companies agreed to pay more than $750 million to settle some lawsuits.
And I was just driving down the road and had both hands on the wheel, and then I realized I had no power steering, and then immediately I went for the brake. I didn't have any brakes, and then saw smoke everywhere.
Michaela Fink says she was driving a Kia Optima in Stallings.
I started seeing flames, and I thought, I'm about to die.
That was it, burning.
Debbie Morris told me her Kia Soul wasn't even moving. She says she had just come home from shopping and that the car was parked in front of her house. She says it burst into flames.
All I could think about was it was going to blow up.
The Center for Auto Safety, CAS, counted more than 230 complaints of Hyundais and Kias catching fire without being in a wreck. CAS says at least 6 people have been hurt in those fires. It pushed the federal safety agency NHTSA to investigate and urged Hyundai and Kia to issue recalls. In January, the companies finally did. In February, customers sued the automakers. In April, NHTSA launched an investigation.
And so we were pleased to see finally the federal government take these Kia and Hyundai fires seriously.
And now the settlement. Hyundai and Kia could end up paying customers $760 million and giving them lifetime warranties, free repairs, and new software for their cars.
My life has changed from a year ago. I mean, every time I get in the car, I think about it.
I met up with Fink a few hours ago to tell her the news.
I'm really glad. I'm really glad that they're finally doing something about it.
Both Hyundai and Kia released statements. Hyundai said this settlement acknowledges our sincere willingness to take care of customers impacted by issues with this engine's performance. Kia said this resolution is the result of good faith efforts among all parties to resolve owner concerns. A new scam involving free DNA kits, the credible organization the scammers are pretending to be with. And a woman found an adorable puppy online and reached out to the seller. That too turned out to be a scam. Next, the way the con is connected to Charlotte. Online puppy scams. I've warned you about them a bunch over the years, but this one had a little different twist. A woman in Arizona contacted me because she said the scammer used a Charlotte address, and as soon as I saw that address, I recognized it. It was this building right here, the Carillon building uptown, and it just so happens, get this, it's the same building the U.S. Attorney's Office is in.
Her name was Cindy, Cennie, Cindy. She was a little miniature Chihuahua.
Cindy died May 29th.
And I still am having a difficult time. And so I wanted another one. And so I started looking on the internet.
Lynette Bearden found one.
It was a teacup Chihuahua for $500. Me not knowing any better, so I did that.
The scammer had her pay using the app Zelle. Then he hit her up for more money.
That I would have to pay for that crate. And it was like $900 and something, totally refundable. And I said, I don't have that kind of money for a crate.
So he threatened her.
That I was going to be in trouble for animal cruelty.
I tried to contact the scammer, but the website was down, no one answered my email, and the phone number...
Call rejected.
You know, they caught me at a vulnerable time. I'm just going into retirement. I just lost my little dog. My heart was ripped out.
Obviously, it's usually best to get a dog in person, but if you really want to buy one online, be suspicious if the seller wants you to pay using cash, prepaid cards, or wire transfers. And most of all, don't trust the picture of the dog that's online, no matter how cute it is. It could be a stock photo, and you can uncover that yourself. I put a short list how to do that on our app. Let me tell you about what are called low E windows or low energy windows. They basically reflect the harsh sunlight off the windows so that you can keep your power bills down. Now, obviously, that can be great for you, but if you get the wrong combination of things, the perfect storm, so to speak, or imperfect storm, that heat can actually melt your neighbor's siding. And that's why the Page family turned action up.
We moved May of 2014. This was brand new and never been lived in, so that was pretty exciting.
But Jill Page says a few years later, the siding started bubbling.
You know, when it first started, it was just you know, maybe a little bit down in here. And now we're all the way up to here.
I mean, you see this line, I mean, it goes from here
Yeah.
diagonally all the way down.
All the way.
Paige told the builder, MI Homes. MI Homes told her to ask her neighbor to sign a form so the company could install a solar screen on the neighbor's windows.
I think that I spent too much money on this house in order for it to be melting.
Like any family, Paige says hers had a lot going on, so they put this on a back burner. Then the siding got much worse, so Paige circled back to MI Homes. By that time, more than a year had passed. Too much time, MI Homes said.
Did they ever send you an email or anything in that year saying
No.
the clock's ticking?
No.
So Paige turned to Action 9. I contacted MI Homes, and the company contacted Paige the same day. The builder emailed me, MI Homes' policy had changed, and our company no longer provided a warranty on the siding. However, we have reached out to Ms. Paige to offer our previous solution, including replacing the siding and installing a solar window screen on her neighbor's windows. And shortly after, the company did. It replaced all of the warped siding. Now look at it. So if you're buying new home construction, make sure you ask the builder in writing how the siding will hold up to sunlight reflected from neighboring windows. At least that way you know before you close. And if you buy the home anyway and then have the problem, make sure you act on it right away. Just don't wait. A warning for you, Medicare is not offering free test kits. What the scammers are after and how to spot the con. Now here's an easy rule of thumb. Medicare doesn't give out any kind of free DNA test kits to the public. Now the Federal Trade Commission told me about this back in July, and I passed that warning along to you. Now at the time though, I didn't know if anybody in our area, the Charlotte area, had actually come across this. Now I know they have.
I love being in the mountains in the summer.
Barney Hodgson lives in Boone. He says his mother is in her 90s.
She grew up in an era where people were more than likely to believe people.
Believe people and believe what comes in the mail. He told me she got a package. It looked like Medicare sent it, and it was offering a free DNA kit.
They said if you send this back, we can let you know if you have cancer or some other illnesses.
Then he says the scammer followed up by phone.
People calling her, wanting her to know if they got the package, and then would she send some samples of saliva and some other parts.
I tried calling the number the scammer used.
An agent will be with you shortly. Thank you. An agent will be with you shortly. Thank you.
3 minutes of that, no one picked up.
They could be scamming, trying to either get your Medicaid, Medicare number, or they're trying to get your DNA.
North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein and I talked about this scam recently.
Either way, you don't want to hand that information off to somebody you don't know.
Hodgson told me his mother may have handed off her personal information. He isn't sure.
I don't know if she gave them her Social Security number or Medicare number or not.
Also unsettling, he's not sure why the scammer chose her. So don't give out any personal information, and remember, government officials will almost never contact you out of the blue. I'm pretty much breaking down warnings for you every day. You can find all those recent news reports by checking out the Action 9 tab on our app. Well, that's all for now. If you've been overbilled, misled, or ripped off, let us look into it for you. You can fill us in on what's been going on by emailing us at action9@wsoctv.com. And I'm always updating you guys on where my investigations stand right there on the WSOC TV Facebook page. We'll be back in a few weeks with more investigations. Until then, keep up with all of our news reports on the WSOC TV channel, on your Roku, Apple TV, or Amazon Fire Stick.